Greetings to all viewers. This is Professor Ankit Singh. We'll now start with the module number 3, that is traffic engineering. Firstly, let us try to define what is traffic engineering. It is a branch of engineering which is devoted to the study and improvement of traffic performance of road network and terminals. Okay, so it is nothing but it is the engineering with respect to improving the traffic conditions. Okay, firstly we need to understand what is traffic. Okay, traffic is nothing but the crowd that is generated on roads due to presence of vehicles, drivers and pedestrians. Okay, so these three form the traffic on the roads. Now the engineering which is used in order to improve the traffic performance, okay, in order to help us travel from point A to point B with least delay, there is a branch of engineering which comes into picture. This is nothing but traffic engineering. Now its purpose is to achieve efficient, free and rapid flow of traffic, yet at the same time to prevent traffic accidents and casualties. Okay, so what is the purpose of traffic engineering? To achieve efficient, free and rapid flow of traffic, and at the same time to prevent the accidents and any type of casualties. Okay, so now we know what traffic engineering is. Its procedures are based on scientific and engineering disciplines. For existing facilities, operative improvements are achieved by, okay, for the existing roads there is some traffic which is already occurring at that place. How can we draw some improvements to that existing condition? We can do the following. Okay, study of traffic characteristics, effective application of regulatory measures. Now this is for existing, and for new facilities we need to do proper planning and design. Okay, because here we'll need to plan from the scratch, from the start, so it requires proper planning and proper design of all the traffic elements. Okay, whereas in the case of existing facilities, what we can do is we can study the existing traffic characteristics and then effective application of regulatory measures. Okay, now what are regulatory measures we will study later on. Now definition of traffic engineering by Institute of Traffic Engineers. Okay, now so what is the definition that they have given? The phase of engineering which deals with planning, geometric design and traffic operations of roads and streets and highways, their network terminals, abutting lands, relationships with other modes of transportations for the achievement of safe, efficient and convenient movement of persons and goods. Okay, so this is the definition that is given by Institute of Traffic Engineers. Now in general, what is the definition? General definition of traffic engineering is: traffic engineering is a part of engineering which deals with traffic planning and design of roads, frontage development, parking facilities, with the control of traffic to provide safe, convenient and economic movement of vehicles, pedestrians or human beings. Okay, so this definition has already been explained at the start. Let us move ahead. Now this is a flow chart which depicts the actual conditions that occur on roads. Okay, now traffic on roads. Due to high traffic, what happens? We see more vehicles. There is an increase in the number of vehicles, and when there is an increase in number of vehicles, there is congestion on roads, there are traffic jams. Now this leads to unsafe and inefficient movement of traffic, and this can cause major three problems. Okay, the three problems listed are: increase in the number of accidents, parking problems, and pollution. Now this pollution can be air pollution and also noise pollution. Okay. Now let us try to understand what are the components of traffic. Okay. So what does the traffic consist of? We need to study traffic engineering, so we need to understand what are the components of the traffic. Mainly there are four components: the vehicle, driver or the road user, the road itself, and the pedestrian. Okay, these are the four components of traffic. Now, what are the objectives and scope of traffic engineering? Firstly, we need to understand the traffic characteristics. In order to understand the traffic characteristics, we need to study traffic engineering. The traffic studies and analysis. Okay, there are a lot of traffic studies that we undertake. We'll be discussing them later on, one by one. Traffic operations, control and regulations. Okay, what are the different traffic operations that take place, how do they take place, okay, and how do we control and regulate these operations. Planning and analysis, geometric design, administration and management. Okay, these come under the scope of traffic engineering. Now, firstly, let us try to understand traffic characteristics. So what are the different traffic characteristics that we need to study? The first type is road user characteristics. Okay. Second type is vehicular characteristics. And then there are other characteristics of traffic, which include the volume, speed, capacity, travel pattern, origin and destination, traffic flow characteristics, parking and accident studies. Okay, we'll look into each of these characteristics in detail. Now the first one is road user characteristics. So now we need to understand who are the road users. The road users include pedestrians, drivers, and the combination of the above. Okay, so the road user can either be driving a vehicle or he can be walking on the roads. Okay, now the study of road user characteristics is concerned with things which activates him, motivation, mechanism of his operation, and patterns of response. Okay, so these are the four things which the road user characteristics are dependent on. Okay, or what they define. There are a few things which activates the road user to create traffic or to travel from place or to travel from point A to point B. Motivation to travel. Okay, mechanism of his operation. He can either be walking, he can be either be using a two-wheeler, a car, or he could be traveling by a taxi or an auto. Okay, then patterns of response. How does this road user respond to different characters, to different traffic conditions? Okay, psychological traits of road user. Okay, so what are these different psychological traits of a road user that we need to consider? His obvious motivation to travel, his intelligence, his learning, emotional traits, okay, and individual differences. We'll consider these in detail. Okay, now the next point is factors affecting road user characteristics. So what are the factors which affect the road user's performance? physical factors, mental factors, psychological factors, and environmental factors. Okay, we'll look into these individually. First, physical factors. Okay, so what are the physical factors of a road user? A few of his permanent characteristics include his vision, his hearing, his strength, and general reaction to traffic situations. Okay, these are the permanent characteristics of the individual which do not change. Now, there are also a few temporary characteristics. The temporary characteristics include fatigue or restlessness, illness, or alcohol and drugs. Okay, so under these three conditions, the individual will react differently. Okay, now let us consider vision. Okay, as we all already know what vision is. Okay, the vision includes the study of acuity of vision, peripheral vision, eye movement, glare vision, and recovery. Okay, now what is acuity of vision? Acuity of vision is how acute is the vision of the person. Okay, that is, what is his range up to which he can sight. Okay, what is the angle between these lines? Okay, now if this is the eye, there is a range r, or this is, okay, you can consider this as range. Now he can sight objects falling in this range. Okay, so here the angle theta would be the acuity of vision. Now this can vary for different people. Few people might have a greater angle and a greater range of vision, whereas a few might have a lesser range of vision. Okay, second is peripheral vision. Peripheral vision is how an individual sights any object which comes along the periphery of his eye, of his vision. Okay, assuming that the eye is in the shape of a circle or an oval. Okay, whatever he sights along the periphery, this might differ from person to person. Okay, the next is eye movement. For a few individuals the eye movement is fast, and for a few it might be slow. Next is glare vision and recovery. Okay, what is glare? When a person either comes in from a darker region or a region of shade to a brighter region, then for some time he is unable to have proper vision of any object in that locality. Okay, that is nothing but glare. Okay, and the time taken for him to adapt to the existing conditions, the brighter conditions, is the recovery time. Okay, so for now what you need to do is you need to remember what the visions includes. Okay, acuity of vision, peripheral vision, eye movement, and glare vision and recovery. Now, PIEV theory for reaction time. We have already discussed PIEV theory in module 2, highway geometric design, where we split up the reaction time into 4 phases, that is P, I, E and V, that is perception time, intellection time, emotion time and volition time. Perception time is the time taken by the person in order to perceive the situation, okay, in order to understand what is happening. Okay, then the signals are sent to the brain through the spinal cord, where intellection time is consumed or is taken in order for the analysis of the condition. Okay, in the interaction time the analysis of the condition is done. Next, in the emotion time, the person might exhibit different type of emotions such as fear, anger, etc. Now the time spent in these emotions is nothing but emotion time. And the last is the volition time, that is the time for the final action. Okay. The next are the mental characteristics. Under the mental characteristics, we consider knowledge, skill, intelligence, experience, and literacy. Okay, these points are self-explanatory. Psychological characteristics: attentiveness, fear, anger, superstition, impatience, general attitude towards the traffic and regulations. Now, these psychological characteristics will differ from person to person. Environmental characteristics. Now, these characteristics are not controlled by the road user. These are due to the present environment. Land and its uses and activities, ambient atmosphere and visibility, fixed facilities for traffic accommodation, including routes and terminals, traffic streams and its characteristics. Okay, what is the type of land and what are the activities for which it is being used, how is the atmosphere, and how are the what is the visibility condition for that area. Okay, fixed facilities for traffic accommodation. Okay, what are the routes over there, what is the parking facilities, what are the different terminals that are present, and the traffic streams and its characteristics. Okay, now vehicular characteristics. There are different types of vehicles, okay, based on different classes. In type 2 there are two axles, type 3 there is a front axle and a rear axle and a tandem axle at the rear end. Okay, so here there are two axles at the rear end and a single axle at the front. Type 2S1, okay, it has a trailer unit here with three axles. Similarly, there are different types of vehicle combinations. Okay, now due to these vehicle combinations the length of the vehicle will change and also the turning radius of the vehicle will change. These will in turn affect the traffic flow conditions. Okay, width. No vehicle shall have a width exceeding 2.5 meters. Okay, as per IRC. Height. No vehicle other than a double-decker bus shall have a height exceeding 3.8 for normal application and 4.2 when carrying ISO series 1 freight containers. Okay, if they are carrying containers then they can have a maximum height of 4.2 meters. Other than that, a maximum height of a double-decker bus should be only 3.8 meters. Okay, length. Maximum overall length of single unit truck exclusive of front and rear bumpers having two or more axles shall be 11 meters, and for a single unit bus having two or more axles shall be 12 meters. For truck, tractor and semi-trailer combination the maximum is 16 meters, and for truck trailer combination exclusive of front and rear bumpers it should be 18 meters. So here the at maximum what the length we can that can be used is 18 meters. Okay, now this here is the weight combination. Okay, now since the vehicles had different tractor trailer combinations, therefore the weight will also differ based on the attachments. Okay, and here you can see the maximum weight that is allowed is 18 tons. Okay, now this would be per single axle. Per single axle this is the maximum tonnage allowed. And if you look at the maximum gross weight of the whole vehicle, the maximum weight would be for type 33 and the weight is 52.2 tons. The next characteristics is turning radius. Okay, there are different standards for turning radius, and the maximum turning radius allowed is 18.2, which is for large semi-truck and trailer combination. Okay, here you can see what is the turning radius when this vehicle takes a turn. Okay, a circular path is traced over here. The radius of this path, as you can see here, is nothing but the turning radius. Okay, so now these are few vehicular characteristics. We'll deal with the next topics in my next lecture. Thank you.